Today in this video, we will be creating a motion detection circuit. So for that, we will be using this important piece of component which is called an IR sensor. So what this does is, using these two LED bulbs, it will send out an infrared ray which will detect if there is an object in front of it, and if there is, it will send an output signal which we'll use to make this piezo buzzer beep. So other than the piezo buzzer and the IR sensor, the other components we'll need for this circuit are a breadboard and some 4 wires. So we have 4 wires which have a pin on both the ends of the wire, and we'll need 3 wires which have a socket, empty socket on one end and a pin on the other end. And finally, we'll need an Arduino. You'll be uploading code on this using an online software called Arduino IDE, and without the code the circuit won't work. So since we're going to be uploading code, we'll also need our own laptop and a power cable to connect the Arduino to the laptop. So now we can start the connection. So we'll take 2 wires with pins on both ends. We'll take 1 wire and we'll connect it to the 5-volt pin of the Arduino. This is the 5-volt pin, and we'll connect it to the positive power rail. Now we'll take another wire. We'll connect it to the ground pin of the Arduino, and the other end will go to the negative power rail. So you can see the connection, the 5-volt to the positive power rail and the ground key to the negative power rail. So now we'll take our piezo buzzer. So the piezo buzzer has 2 ends to it. The longer end is the positive side and the shorter end is the negative side. So we gotta remember where we put that. So we can put it anywhere in the board, but we gotta remember where we put the positive and where we put the negative. So I'll just do this. So now we'll take 2 more wires which have pins on both sides. So we'll take 1 wire and we'll connect it not to the positive power rail but to the data pin 5, the digital pin 5 on the other side of the Arduino. So we'll do that, and we'll take the other end to the positive end of the buzzer. So we've got to remember where the positive end of the buzzer is, and we're going to connect this there. Now I'm going to take our remaining wire, we'll connect it to the negative power rail and to the negative side of the buzzer. So you can see this. So 1 wire is from the data pin 5 of Arduino to the positive of piezo buzzer, and the other is from the negative power rail to the negative side of the buzzer. So now we'll take our IR sensor and we'll take our 3 wires which have the socket on one side and the pin on the other. So if we look in the IR sensor, there's 3 pins at the bottom which have labels in them. So one is the output pin, one is the ground pin, and one is the power pin, the VCC's power. So we're gonna take 1 pin, connect it to the VCC side of the IR sensor. So you can see this is connected to VCC, and we'll connect this to the positive power rail. We'll take another wire. We'll connect this to the ground. It is labeled as G and D, so we gotta look at where we're putting it. It doesn't want to go in. Yes, so we have connected this to the ground, and we'll take the other side of the wire to the negative power rail. So now, using the 1 wire we have left, we'll connect it to the output. It is labeled as out. We'll put it at the output key, and we'll take the other end of the wire and we will insert it in the data pin 6. The data pin 6. So I've messed this wire up. I've accidentally put it in 5. It has to be, I've accidentally put the wire in 4. Need to put this into 5. So you can see the output pin of the IR sensor is connected to data pin 6, and the output pin and the positive pin wire of the buzzer is connected to data pin 5. So now the circuitry is done, but now we need to upload code from the laptop into the Arduino. Without the code, it will not function. So we'll connect it to the laptop using this power cable. So we connect it over here and we'll connect it to the laptop and we'll upload the code. So this is the code that we need to write on the Arduino IDE. This is an online software where you can just write the code for your Arduino circuit and upload it onto the Arduino. If you don't have this software, you can just Google Arduino IDE, click on the first link, which will take you to the main website of the Arduino, and then you can just download the software there. So what exactly is happening in this code? So first we're just declaring some variables. So IR is equal to 6 and buzzer is equal to 5. So that just means that it is just declaring variable IR, which is connected to data pin 6. As you remember, we connected the IR sensor, the output of the IR sensor, onto data pin 6. And then we have buzzer, which is connected to data pin 5. Then we have a function void setup. So when the Arduino is connected to power, this function will run only once. So it is just used to write code for setup, and since it will run only once, just for setting up the whole program. So first we have Serial.begin 9600. So this means that it will transfer 9600 bytes of data per second to the serial monitor. What is the serial monitor? The serial monitor is basically like the terminal of the Arduino. You can like print statements there and show some output there. So the to view the serial monitor, you go to this corner and click on this button. When you click it, a pop-up will come, like a text document will come, and that is the terminal. During the circuit, it can show some output if you have written the code that way. If I click on it now, I have not connected my Arduino to the laptop right now, so it will show board at COM3 is not available. But if you connect the Arduino to the USB port of the laptop, then this error should not show. So after this statement, we have two more lines. pinMode IR input and pinMode of buzzer is output. So this is basically saying that we will be receiving data from the IR sensor and then we will be outputting data to the buzzer. So since we are receiving data from the IRs, like whether the object is present or not, that is the mode of that pin is input, and then we will be outputting that data to the buzzer to make it beep. So its mode will be output. So that's this function setup. The next we have another function, void loop. So as the name suggests, this function will reiterate itself while the Arduino is connected to power. So just keep on looping. So it is checked. So like if statements is used here to like keep checking for like variables and stuff. So we have written an if statement here. If digitalRead IR is equal to low. So what this essentially is doing is that it's reading the data pin 6, that's the IR, that's what the IR is connected to, and checking if the current passed is low. So the way the IR sensor works, if an object is present in front of the IR sensor, it will send a low current. Otherwise, it will send a high current. So we are checking here essentially we're just checking if the object is present in front of the sensor. So if it is present, it will send a low current, and then this if statement will be activated. So what's inside this if statement? We have another statement, tone buzzer 700. So this is saying we will send a tone of 700 Hertz through data pin 5, which is connected to the buzzer. So this is saying the buzzer, we have a piezo buzzer, to beep at the tone of 700 as long as there is a object in front of the IR sensor. Then we also have Serial.println visitor at door. So when there's an object in front of the IR sensor, we're just clicking Serial.println visitor at door. This you can remove this line, it's not necessary. So visitor at door, so this you can use this as a smart doorbell. So if there's a visitor in front of your door, then it will like send this message to the serial monitor that there's a visitor. So that's the code itself. So now after you have done writing the code, you can click on this verify button. It's like a check mark. So it will compile your sketch, which is basically the code you have written. It will compile it and it will check for any errors. There have been no errors, so it's done compiling. So the code is all good. Then we can click on the next button, which is an arrow, and upload the code onto the Arduino so that our circuit will work. Right now I've not connected my Arduino, so this will not work. It will show an error message. So it will first compile the sketch again before uploading. Then it will upload. So as you can see, an error occurred that because the system could not find the file specified at COM3. So that means the Arduino was not present, so this error was created. But if you connect the Arduino to the USB port of the laptop, there should be no error. This sketch will upload just fine to the Arduino and your circuit will work after that. So now, after doing all the circuits and after uploading the code to the Arduino, we will just plug this in back to the laptop and it will work. So now it's not beeping, but once I put my hand in front of it, you can see it beeps. So you can see that if I put my hand in front of the LEDs, it will start beeping. So that means this circuit, this motion detector circuit, is now working.